Let me welcome everybody here today to our blogging seminar, and I think you'll find some good information for you. Let me just kind of give you an idea of sort of how it's going to go, and then we'll see if I'm successful in that, following that plan. Most of you know me. My name is Steve Counts. I'm the owner of DPI Printing and Mailing, and then I'm going to introduce our other speakers for you today. But the other thing I like to do, and it's kind of customary, is that we also let you introduce yourself, your name, and maybe the company that you work with or the organization that you represent. So that's always kind of good to know, for sure. But what we're going to talk about today is the why of blogging. You know, why is it a good deal? Why people do it? How to name a blog? What you should write about if you decide to blog? How to get found if you do a blog, that kind of thing. It's all important. And then we'll have some resources for you, and also some ideas if you really think, hey, this is something I want to do, I'll let somebody help me, and we can help you with that too. Again, after I speak, Nathan Coble will be speaking. He works, all the people that I talked to today are employees of DPI, and most of the people that you know. Nathan's our graphic designer. Actually an award-winning graphic designer. I'll brag on him a little bit. He won an Addy Award last year. Are you familiar with the Addies? It's a Springfield Ad Club. It's a very prestigious club for graphic designers. We're really pleased that he won that for our company. And I'm sure he can tell you about that sometime if you have a few minutes. But he is also in charge of our production for our printing company. And in addition to that, he helps us with web design, which is one of our new ventures as a company. So, and he'll be talking more of the technical aspect, you know, the ins and outs of actually setting up a blog. So don't worry too much if you're not into that technical part. He'll tell you enough to be dangerous, but at least give you some idea of what it entails. And then after that, Lori McCauley, who is our vice president for our company, and who has been studying blogging and other things with the internet for the last year, as we've made that transition in our company from not just being in the printing but also in the internet marketing. She'll be talking to you a little bit about what to write about. A lot of people say, wow, what would you write about? Gosh. And she's got some ideas on that. And then in addition, how to get found. You know, you do all that work writing, you'd like for somebody to read it. And there's some tricks to that. And she'll discuss that with you as well. And that's kind of the outline of what we're going to talk about tonight. So, okay, well, let's jump right in. Let's talk just a little bit about blogging. You know, for a year before I started involved in blogging, I've heard about it. People said, you should blog, it's something that's important. And I just never could get my arms around it. I said, why would anybody be interested in reading what I'd written? I mean, you know, I like writing, but I thought, you know, that just doesn't get me too excited. But finally, when I studied it, I kind of saw the idea. It's a roundabout way to get what you want. It's a roundabout way to get people to find you and then call you and buy from you. Okay, I like that part. You know, I like the buying part. And so we're just going to talk a little bit about the history of that, kind of give you a little foundation. Now, let me ask you this. Does anybody in the room already have a blog? Good. So is this like a personal blog or for the company?
Well, I have an additional company.
Super.
Working for
Okay,
it's
another
a
one.
bridal business.
Oh, bridal. Yeah, now that would be a good one for sure. So you have one. That's good. Anybody else? Great, so we can make things up. They'll never know.
Yeah, we're 3-year-olds in here. So
Yeah. Pressure's off. Let me just kind of give you a roundabout way with an illustration, and we'll all probably get it, is that Yellow Pages. In the past, when we wanted to find something, the traditional way was to get the phone book, look up the category, and then you would see some ads there. Some were full page, some were just one lines, the free ones. And then you might say, oh, okay, that sounds like what I want. I'll call them, or I might go buy. I mean, yeah, we all get that. Well, that's still a viable way, but it's with the internet, that's changed a lot. Today, most of us probably, when we want to find something on the internet, we'll just Google it. In fact, we might even go, we'll do a Google as well, because we all, isn't that funny? That's now a word, you know, because of what we do. So we now type in what we're looking for. I in preparation for this, thought about furniture. Thinking about you actually, Marcia. And if you type in the word furniture, when I did it the other day, it was like 943 million. It tells you right there, that's 962. Wow, a lot more in just a few days. That's how many different links there are for furniture worldwide. Now, if you type in bedroom furniture, of course that's a little more narrow, and that's kind of how I guess most of us would do that. That's how we search. And now that's 31 million locations. And then we could say bedroom furniture, Springfield, Missouri, which would be a more local search. And the other day it was 106,000. It's 101,000. I don't know where the others fell off, but you know, Google's Google. So, but that's 101 links, 101,000. So let's say selling furniture in Springfield. You're on page 196,000. You're the 96,000th link, which is way, you know the point. You're probably not going to get found. So you might say, well, what's that got to do with blogging? I'll get there. The key is, as we probably know or we're learning, is the people find us when you type that in. This is the most amazing thing. Google just searches them real quickly throughout the internet, and they try to find pages that are the most relevant to what you typed in. And so if you happen to have relevant content, something that they think, well, that sounds sort of like what those people are looking for, let's get that up there so that might help these people. It's really a nice service that Google, does. And so you say, well, okay, now, Seal, what does that have to do with blogging? Okay. The search engines are looking for content or information that goes along with what you typed in. So if you have a subject matter that's relevant or close to what people are typing in, Google saying, that sounds like a good match. Let's get that one closer so that as these people are searching, they can decide if it's a fit or not. Now, there's a lot more scientific stuff to that, but that's really the Reader's Digest condensed version. So that's why blogging works so well, because if you write, and you write on subjects that you can actually help people with, of course, got to be honest, and it's something that people happen to be looking for, then, and the more of that you have, Google says, wow, this is the site. And they put you up there. Maybe they might even put you number one. Oh, hallelujah. If you're number one, it's like, happy days are here again. But even if they put you 2 or 3 in the list, that's wonderful. Now, there's some other tricks that go with it than that. But that is the easiest, most economical way to get found on the internet. And that's why people were saying to me, Steve, you really need to be blogging. Your company needs to be blogging. And so finally I got that. So I don't know if that's helping you at all. But that's the why. That's why it's worth the effort to sit there and say, okay, what can I write about? Now there's some secrets about what to write about, and Lori will talk a little bit about that, how you come up with those ideas, but that's the basis of it. So that's, in fact, here's some statistics. 60% of the people choose the first link. So if we were on Google again, and that first line that comes up, that's 60% of the people will take that one. 20% will take the second one, or the first one. 10% will take either one of the top 3. After that, 2%, 2%, 2%. Well, after a while, we're out of percents. By the second page, there's no percents. Now, that's not scientific, but that's a pretty good rule. If you're not on the first page, you really are not going to get found for the thing they are searching for. And you might say, well, I typed in digital print ink and it came right up. Yeah, because that's very specific. But a lot of people that's your customers would be doing that. And that's okay. But I'm trying to grow my business. So I want somebody that might be just saying, printing in Springfield, Missouri. See, that's a different subject. So that's one that I want to have good content for, perhaps, so I can find those people. So that's kind of the general rule on that. So with that in mind, I'm probably going to transition, but as we go along, we can ask questions. And so that one's not real deep, so I probably won't have a lot of questions on that, but if you do, go ahead. We will have some time at the end for questions as well, too. Now, real briefly, and then I'll turn it over to Nathan. If you don't have a blog and you're thinking about naming it, how do you come up with a name? We've got some tips on the back, in your handout that'll help you on that. There's one really good one there about, talks about how to make money with a blog, but they spend quite a bit of time on naming your blog. So I'm gonna let them tell you. But the key of that is finding something you like, finding something you're interested in. If you're gonna blog on something that you're interested in. You say, well, it's my business. Well, you don't have a choice. You gotta write about your business. But if you're doing it just for fun, do it something that you like and something you enjoy. And if you can make your name that sort of tells what the blog's about, that's another little secret as well. Okay? Well, let me turn it over to you, Nathan, and you can kind of pick it up from there.
Okay.
And again, if you have questions, just interrupt us. This is a pretty small crowd, and we'll go along as we do that.
Well, thanks guys for coming, and I'm just going to run through a real brief introduction to how to get a blog set up and live. And it's actually much more simple than I ever thought it would be. How many people think setting up a blog would be complicated or scary or just like don't want to spend the time to try to figure it out? That's kind of what I thought when I was learning this stuff, and really you need three things to get your blog going, and that's it. You need to find somebody to host your website. You need a domain name to take people where you need to go, and then my choice is to install and use WordPress as your blogging platform.
Install what?
WordPress. And I'll get more on that in a little bit. In just a minute I'm going to show you actually how to do all that. But first I want to just do a quick background on what is web hosting. Basically it's a hosting service that allows your website to be accessed by anybody in the world. If you don't have a host, nobody can find you. You can't get up on the web. It also will store all of your data, all of your content, your images, your text, on the web hosting site. So they're basically a placeholder that's going to hold everything that has to do anything with your website or your blog. Basically, the web hosting and the domain are really the only things that you need to pay for. WordPress has many free templates that you can use, and once you install that, they are pretty basic, but if you're just wanting to literally get up and start blogging about something just to try it out, your domain name and web hosting are really the only upfront costs that you're going to have if you do it yourself. There's lots of web hosts out there. Choose carefully on, you're researching those. There's tons of them on the internet. I've kind of done a lot of research and narrowed it down to a few that I like. HostGator.com is a good one. I'm sure everybody's heard of GoDaddy.com. And they allow you to, they've got a really nice setup there to where you can do everything through them as well. And Bluehost.com is the third one.
What's that again?
Bluehost.
Is that in the
Like
information?
Yeah, it should be on
On
in
one.
the slides, yeah. And I like Bluehost the best. I've used them for a few things, and they have excellent tech support. They're a high quality company. They're rated like top 10. And everything that you're trying to do within their site, if it's set up an email, try to get Google ads going, storing your data, finding out anything about where your stuff is being hosted, they have a video tutorial on everything. And if you don't know anything, you can click on there and it's like, click this button, click this button. So it's really user friendly, and them in combination with WordPress really makes it easy for the novice, for the people that aren't technically enhanced or even understand that. So let's go ahead and let's see which way I need to go here. Take you through, this is going to be really brief, and like I said, it's just, I can only do so much here, but I just want to take you through the steps and try to show you how easy it is to get started. This is Bluehost. Like I said, I recommend them, and they have lots of information, features, so you can kind of do your own research on them. But the first thing you're going to do, hit the sign up now button. And here's where, if you already have a domain that you purchased through somebody else and you wanted to use Bluehost as your hosting company, you can enter it right here on the right side. and they'll take care of getting it transferred over to them. But today we're going to act like, since nobody has a blog except for one, we're going to go ahead and just start with a fresh name. So I'll just use my name, for instance, Nathan Colbert. So I'm just going to type it in here and hit the next button. And right here you can choose whether you want it to be a .com, a .net, .org, .info. And we've done a lot of research, and even though there's all these other .3s after your domain name, .com is still number one. It's still what everybody thinks in their head, and I think it always will be. .org, a lot of nonprofits will use those. So we'll just go ahead and hit next, and congratulations. So if nathancolba.com was already taken, they would tell me, sorry, this is unavailable. Would you like to use .net, .biz, whatever? And so that would be up to me if I wanted to choose that or not. Or I could go back and try a different name, add my middle initial to that or something. So through here, obviously I'm not going to type in all this, but you'll go ahead and put in your name, info, all that good stuff. They're going to try to sell you some other stuff, and that's for you to do your own research on. The one thing about hosting is they'll allow you to do a 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 year. Starting out, if you're not sure where it's going to go, you may just go with the 1 year thing, and then if it takes off, you can bump it up. I know we've done some research, and the more that if you do more than 1 year, that definitely helps in your search engine optimization. Because they know, okay, they're established, they're not going to be gone in a year. So you might keep that in mind. They've got backup and security, so there's a lot of extras there that you can choose to do or not. Then you'll just go ahead and hit next, and they'll end up sending you an email when that all goes through, give you a login name for Bluehost. And once you log back in, this is what you'll see. They call it their cPanel. And basically, you've got your domain name purchased, and they've got partners. Here you can find web templates. They've got, if you want to do promotional stuff, and the yellow pages online, AdWords. And they've just got a ton of link building. They've even got search engine optimization in there as well. But the one thing I want to focus on is they have this great tool. It's called Simple Scripts. And right here you can see the WordPress icon. And this is really how easy it is. You'll simply just click on that because they've got all of your information and they are your host. So they can take care of everything right there. It says to install WordPress. And this is actually Steve's blog that we're getting ready to get started. And I've left it pretty generic just so you guys can see the sample of that. And this is just the version, and you can read more about WordPress. But you'll simply hit the install button, and once you do that, it'll go through the process and hit install, and you'll get another email explaining how to log into your WordPress site. And honestly, that's all you have to do, and you're live. So
Nathan, I'm going to hold you just for
Yeah.
a second, let everybody kind of catch up.
Yeah.
In that, in as well. But if you have a question about that in general, that's fine. Again, a lot of that you might need to actually go through that process as well.
I do have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Brandon.
What's the particular advantage to WordPress as opposed to any other blog?
WordPress is extremely user-friendly. When you're within WordPress, the admin page of your blog, it basically looks like you're working in Word. If you're really just wanting to type, you can either choose to see the page visual, or you can have the option of, if you know code and are a programmer, you can work in the HTML side of it as well.
Okay.
There's tons of plugins that you can get. I know we're kind of getting technical, but it's just for somebody that does not understand code or the programming side, you can do it. I mean, get a book, read online, learn a few things, learn the basics about it, and it's simple. I mean, if you can type an email and type in Word, there's just a couple extra buttons to get it to post and show up, and it's just very, very user-friendly. And the benefit is you can start there, and however far you want to take it is up to you. But I mean, when you throw in programming and learning HTML on top of that, you can really do some damage with your site, you know. So it's very, very user friendly.
I know, but I'm gonna do a lot of damage.
You know, the other thing that was surprising to me, that if you don't have a business, or like you guys are starting, it's not a bad idea to even consider starting with a blog before you even get your website. You might even examine that, because anymore, blogs are almost like a website in some ways. And of course, Nathan can expand it. Marcia, do you
Yeah, I
have?
have a question. I'm gonna show my blog ignorance,
That's no
but
problem.
you're talking about you have to have a domain name for a blog.
Mhm.
If you already have a domain name for a website, this is gonna be something totally separated from your website?
You
or
can-
they be combined?
Now, if you don't say you have your domain name, but you don't, there's nothing, you just purchased the domain name, you're not.
We have one with a page and it has several pages on
Okay.
it
Just
of
like
information.
with James Core.
JamesHomeDecor.com.
Yeah, you can link to that, and I think Lori can explain that a lot better,
Okay.
or
Okay.
make it into a subdomain. Am I saying
Right.
that right? To where those two will work in conjunction. So if somebody's finds your blog before your website, it's going to hit your
So
blog.
one
But then,
will take
yeah,
them to each
exactly.
other.
And actually, that's excellent for search engine and
Yeah.
getting your ranking up. So.
Okay.
Anybody else? Go on, that's great.
This is one basic setup right out of Bluehost that I did for Steve. And of course, we haven't enhanced it at all, but I wanted to show you. Once you're finished with that, and once you install a WordPress, you go to your domain name, and they'll automatically throw in one of their free templates for you. So you are literally ready to go. Hello world, I'm here. Now this isn't the back end side. You'll have an admin page where you can actually log in and be able to type your post, and that'll probably be another seminar or a meeting with you guys on a separate note to do some training on that. But does that seem pretty easy to everybody, or did I go too fast, or no comment? I know it seems fast and simple, but you know, it literally, if you were to get on Bluehost and just walk through it and install, you know, it just kind of blows you away of really, holy cow, I'm live now, you know, and it's the next step of, okay, how do I want to treat this blog? Do I want it to be simple, or do I want it to, you know, be a full-out website? And like Steve was saying, with your blog, WordPress allows you to add 10 more pages if you want. You can add a portfolio if you want. You can add a PayPal account if you want. So there's lots of options to expand your blog once you get it going. So I think I touched on the WordPress benefits, and I think that's about all. There's, like I said, it's simple, user-friendly, and you can take it as far as you want.
This view that you have up now, is that on the admin side? Is that how you?
No, this is the live. This is the live side.
That's what people-
And actually, I could probably log. If you guys would like to see that, I could log in real quick if we have time for that. So this will be where it takes you to actually log in to get to the back end of your site. See if I remember my password. So this is kind of what you'll get once you're logged in, and like I said, it takes you need to learn WordPress. It's not very hard, but just kind of learn your way around it. This is your main dashboard. Here's kind of your appearance, where you can pick your themes or upload a new theme. There's options. Here's where you would add your plugins and activate them.
What's a plugin?
A plugin is basically, the great thing about WordPress is all the gurus out there are creating these plugins, these assets to add to your website. So let's say I wanted to add a portfolio to my site of photography or pictures of your furniture, but you weren't sure how to do that. If you do a Google search for portfolio WordPress plugins, it's going to blow up on you, and you can pick through probably hundreds that somebody's already created the script for that, and you install this plugin on your site, add it to your page, and it's done for you. So that you don't have to know code, you don't have to try to figure out how am I going to do this, because WordPress, somebody probably already done it. And you know that most of the plugins are free. Of course, they would like you to donate to them if you want, but That's a brief on that.
Can you go back to that original page you came in on, right there?
The dashboard?
So like, here's where you, see, this is where you'd be writing, this is what, oh yeah, we're blogging, aren't we? Okay, yeah, just kidding. That's where you put your title for your blog, and that's where you type your content, and then tags, that's something Lori will talk about, which you can add, and then, and some other things. So it's really where the meat and potatoes of it is, and again,
This is a typical page. I just want to show you guys real quick and
Yeah.
I'll be done. This would be where you start typing.
that's like Word, you know?
You've got your bold, italic, your bullets. I mean, everybody's seen this format before. Uh-huh.
So I think it's easy.
Another question for you, so you're gonna write some kind of little brief article, somebody's gonna read that, and they're gonna respond to it,
They could.
or they.
That's
They
the
may not
goal.
respond.
That's the goal.
That's pretty cool, I like that. I'm gonna go, and you might have a link to your website.
But you'll be able to track whether they just read it, or whether they linked on to your other site,
Mhm.
or.
That is a possibility,
Yeah.
and again, we're kind of jumping into Lori.
Okay.
So why don't we go ahead then and bring Lori up, and she's gonna talk about what to write about, and also how to get found. And some of what she talks about does get a little bit into more of a technical area, so if it gets that way, just say, hey, you know, but it's kind of necessary. But the key on writing, some people have writers, how would you ever write about it? Well, for example, if a customer asks you a question, that's a great blog topic. Just start thinking about that. Or if you have an FAQ for your frequently asked questions, you know, those are great. Or what people should ask about your product. That's a great. So there's just amazing. You really can. Once you get into it, you'll be surprised how many things you can write about. So anyway, Lori, over to you.
Thank you. It's actually a lot of fun to start blogging. So I wear my name tag every day, so I felt it was appropriate to wear it tonight. It's high ragweed season, so I hope I don't sneeze. I don't speak very loudly, so if you can't hear me, just holler. I don't get quite as excited as Steve. But I didn't really check to see, is anyone here subscribed to our blog?
Yeah,
I'm
that's better. If you're
ashamed.
not,
Shame on you.
hey, that's the fee. That's your price.
Our blog is actually very simple. Did you already pull it up?
Yep.
Yep.
Remember, we're just trying to figure
Oh,
out. the
it's not
difference
this
between
one.
blog and blog.
Yeah, that's right.
We don't want that.
That is our blog right now.
Yeah, but I wanted to log out. I want to
Okay,
log out.
okay.
I want so they'll see it. Our blog is actually a subdomain of our website. We actually use a company called HubSpot. I don't know if anyone's heard of them. I know you have, Nancy. And we are actually a business affiliate partner with them. So if that's something you want to talk about, we can sure talk about that at some point. We started our blog, it's probably not, maybe been about a year, but we really didn't start really learning what we were doing and getting into it probably maybe the last 6 months. And we're just now getting to where we're getting a lot of subscribers and some action with, and it's showing up on the search engines better. Because I want to point out, and I was going to say that it does take time. Anything you do with your website or anything doesn't show up in Google or Bing or anywhere immediately. These things take time, so you have to be really consistent with it. But I have a lot of information, and these guys gave me the biggest part tonight, so I'm going to refer to my notes a little bit as I kind of talk about this. You probably blogging is probably the easiest thing you can do to add content. So content is what the search engines like. The more content you have to your site, the more index pages you'll get, the higher ranking you'll have. Companies who blog have over 400 more index pages than companies who don't blog. And index pages is really what you want to have. Companies who blog have 55% more website visitors than companies that don't blog. So keep those things in mind. That's pretty big numbers, I thought, when I read that. So you might be thinking this might be a little overwhelming. It can be. might be thinking, oh, I'm not a writer. What the heck am I going to write about? How am I going to find time? Because all of these things that's what we said in the beginning too. But I'm going to tell you, by the time I finish here, you're going to have a lot of ideas. You're probably going to be overwhelmed with what you're going to be able to write about. So first of all, you need to think about what your goal is. You need to define your audience, customers, potential customers, whatever it is. I think most everyone here wants to blog for business. So you want to be entertaining, educational, interesting. You do not want to be promotional. The blog is not to promote your business, but just a little bit. You can be a little bit promotional, with some of your articles, but you really just want to be an educator and try to be a leader in your industry and an expert in your field. So you want to educate, entertain, you want to engage, and you want to enrich. I highly recommend, if you haven't done this already, maybe you want to do this before you ever start a blog, is to subscribe to as many blogs as you can in your industry, whether it's your vendors, even competitors, and read them.
How do you subscribe to blogs?
I would just try to search for, you can even do a search for blogs on, you can go in, there's different search engines where you can go in and you want to find a blog on fireplaces, for instance, and it will probably start pulling up different companies
So you just
that
go to
their
Google
blogs.
and
You can.
blog on
Mhm.
fireplaces?
Mhm. And in that blog, a lot of them will have RSS feed if you're familiar with what that means. But I highly, highly recommend you have, if you have nothing else, you have a subscribe by email. That's the most popular method. And so once you subscribe, then every time they publish an article, it's going to come into your email box. The feature on ours, and I don't know, depending on what platform you choose, whether when the email hits your inbox, when you click on it, it will either have a title, and you can click on the title to see it, or you click on that link and it's going to show you the blog right there. So I would recommend, part of the reason of reading your competition and any blogs in your industry is because it's going to give you a feel for what you like and what you don't like, and if something is too lengthy, or and ideas. It's going to give you ideas for what you might want to write about in your field. Don't be afraid to focus on negative phrases, and by that I mean think like your audience, or your customers, or your consumers, or the potential customers, and what they're going to use to search to find you. What words, what keywords, what phrases. There's going to be a lot of how-tos and whys. How to find the right fabric for my sofa, and those are questions that you want to address. But don't be afraid to focus on negative issues. For instance, go ahead and write an article about drawbacks of something in your industry, or pros and cons. Go ahead and talk about something that's not maybe controversial. So what they're going to do for you is kind of get you ahead of competition in that area, and also you're putting out there on the table for anything. It's going to kind of give you kind of a heads up. What do I want to say?
Well,
Put you kind of ahead of
I think
before
we need to-
someone can shoot you down. You're going to
Sure.
address it ahead of
Yeah.
time.
That's it, head it off.
Yes. So don't be afraid to do those, and I put some of those in your handout. Complaints, praises, trends. It's going to give you some credibility, and it's going to thwart any efforts that people would want
I've
to
seen a lot
talk
of
you down.
Top 10 reasons to do such and such.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be several blogs too. There's nothing wrong if you have a long topic
Yeah.
to make 2 or 3 blogs out of it. That helps you.
Mm-hmm.
Makes it easy.
How often, maybe you're gonna get into that,
Mhm.
how often should you, is
Mhm.
daily,
I
twice
can
a
skip
day,
to that.
once a
Mhm.
month? Oh, Okay.
I will skip to that and come back. Ideally, your article should be between 200 and 800 words. Sometimes you can go longer with that if you've got your article broken up and you're really talking about something that's really going to engage your reader, but you don't want to lose them. And so ideally they say between 200 and 800 words. You don't want to go too short either. One idea per post. Don't put a whole bunch of different ideas into one. It should be one topic, one area of concern. You want to use a lot of white space, a lot of bullets. I'm going to show you this one, I think. Again, our blog is laid out very simply. A lot of white space, bullets. Always use at least one image, whether it's a photo, piece of clip art. Videos are great. Videos will really, the search engines love videos. They'll shoot you up there.
Lori, on this one, you might say
Am I
videos.
going too fast?
How do I do a video? Well, I mean, we could help you if you want to create a video, but Lori did this one, and she actually didn't you get a video from the internet
Mm-hmm.
and linked it?
I
And that's
searched for a
permitted
video
under
that was-
certain rules.
Yeah.
So she didn't have to create the video, she just linked it.
The video should go along with what your topic is. Lots of white space, bullets. The lots of white space. The easier you can make it for the reader, they're going to read your articles and they're going to keep coming back and reading them. So.
What do you mean by lots of white space? What do you?
Well, I don't have here, like in this blog, I don't have just full huge paragraph of text. It's broken up so that as you're reading it, you can skim through it and then come
And
back.
like double spacing, so that
Yeah,
you
because
don't
if you
so
have
much
just a
cramped
one
in
long
type.
huge paragraph, you might lose them.
Give up.
So a lot of times people are searching and they click on your blog and they're reading it because it's got some information in it, but if you have too much information, that's why they say don't make it too long, probably going to lose them, no matter how interesting it is. So you want to add your social sharing buttons. Be sure you have those if you have a Facebook account, a YouTube, LinkedIn. There's a number of other social sharing that we don't have up there, but there's quite a few of them. You do want to ask a question at the end. And in order to try to spur comments are good because when you get some interaction going, then you're going to get some external links. I'm going to talk about that in a minute, which are great for search engine. The other one I want to show you. The other thing that's really important that you would need to really try to think about adding to all of your posts is a good call to action. And a call to action is, a question is a good call to action, but another one, this one is a blog article about promotional products. And at the end, we have a nice white paper on QR code tips, and it goes along with what we're talking about in the article. So I've given the reader something that they can, it's a call to action. I want them to go somewhere else on my site and read something else I have, or fill out a form for more information, etc. So a really good call to action is they have at least one on every article. And at the same time, you want to have them on your sidebar or somewhere else, backwards, somewhere else on your site. Here we have another one on our sidebar. You want to distribute your content to all of your social media sites as well. I'm going to talk about that here in a minute. You do not want to post more than once a day. And the earlier in the day, the better, because that's when people get to the office or they're at the computer and they're going to start reading their emails. So the earlier in the day, the better, but not twice in one day. And not on the weekends. So ideally you want to start out trying to publish an article once a week, and working up to 5 you can. Once a week is good, but 5 is better.
Any particular weekday better?
I've read several places that Wednesday is a peak Facebook day also, for some reason. I don't know why. But there's nearly not a lot of studies I've seen on a day that is. Yes, Steve. Real quick, I'm going to go through these because I've only given you a few, and there's a lot of these. Steve mentioned FAQ from your website. LinkedIn questions and answers. If you're on LinkedIn, those are great. Case studies. This is one I really like, is to showcase a customer success story. That's a great one. People love stories. Share an experience of your own. Have a guest blogger. Guest bloggers are great. Any recent news development in your industry. Again, it goes to authority and expertise. Shows your reader that you're on top of what's going on. Any product tip sheets, how-to guides. Let's see. And again, be controversial. White papers, if you've written a white paper, an ebook, or even a book, could be a series of blogs. Of course, top 10 industries. What you should do immediately is you should write down every single question you can think of that a customer or a potential customer has ever asked you, because every single question is an article or a series of articles. So you can take one topic and have 20 articles on it, for that matter. You just break it up into, so it's easy for the reader. So if you really start your wheels turning, you just, all of a sudden you have too much information, and how are you going to write that much? So.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
We don't blog right now, but we do have a weekly email that goes out to people who have gone to us. Then we also have a website. The content of the weekly email is highly informational and would be real easy to just copy and paste. Is there a reason to not do that, or?
I cannot think of a good reason. I think that's a great idea.
That's a good idea.
In fact, you could probably,
Sorry,
from your emails,
I've
you
blogged
could,
for a year now already.
yeah, you could probably,
Work's done.
you could probably take several of them, and then even break that out into, really nice content, to read. And
I
absolutely.
think as far as search engine ranking goes, there's a thing called content spamming. And you just don't want to duplicate the same information on web
Mhm.
pages.
Mhm.
Okay. Change the content a little bit.
Little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Email versus the blog, though, I don't think you're gonna,
Yeah.
you wouldn't
Yeah,
want to
they're
take the
not
same
saying
thing
that.
from your website and then, so it's duplicate. That's absolutely true. That's a very good point. You don't want to do that. My next part of this is about optimizing your blog, and I just guess I would ask everyone here, is anyone who has not heard of search engine optimization, SEO? Any of you work on any of that at all?
I've
Yay.
played with it. It's just,
There's a lot to
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
and I actually kind of enjoy it. The more I learn about it, the more interesting it is. I'm not a geek by any means. Might be getting there, but
well, figuring out what the keywords should be, but
Mhm.
based on your content,
Mhm.
the number of times that word shows up in your content. I don't know. I guess there's an art to it, but
There is actually. I want to. Where am I at? I want to show you. Again, you do want to write for your audience, not the search engines. That's really, really important. You do want to identify the keywords or the keyword phrases in your industry, and you have a lot of them. You have actually a lot more than you even realize. You think about all the terms or all the phrases that someone will key into Google or Bing to about your industry. There's tons of them. So if you think about that, you want to think about all the keywords you have, and all those keywords are blog articles, every single one of them. You want to have a keyword in your title of your blog. You want to have the same keyword or phrase in the article itself. You don't want to overpopulate it, because then it's not really for your reader. You're just, Google's going to recognize you're flooding it with keywords. But it should be all about that particular topic, and it should be a keyword. Then what you'll want to do is tag or categorize, and I'll jump to that, back to that, because a lot of formats have it along the side. The tags or the category, it'll be in your blog setup. It's either going to be at the end when you finish writing. It's going to ask for your tags or categories, or some of them happen at the top. It depends on your platform.
Could you explain
You
that,
don't want
what
to have
it
more than
actually is?
3.
I mean, you're talking about these.
It's whatever is in your article. You're going to pick. You shouldn't have more than 3. You're going to pick 3 main items in your article that your article's about, and they should be keywords. Don't have to be, but they should be.
So
For
example,
instance,
this
this
one
one
right
is I put on the tags for this one. I put colored envelopes, and large size envelopes. So when someone is on your blog page and they want to look for something specific, an article, they can go over to your categories. In this case, if they wanted to look at envelopes, and they would find 3 articles. If they clicked on this, 3 articles would come up that have to do with envelopes.
These articles that you've written in the
Mhm.
past?
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm. And the more articles you write, the more categories you're going to have, and that's okay. But at least it's easy for them to find however many articles you have on that specific topic.
So for example,
So-
if I was doing a blog on interior design
Mhm.
or furnishings, I could have draperies, and I might have multiple articles that I've written about different types of draperies, or how to
Mhm.
plan for
Mhm.
making draperies, how to design your own. how
And
to
if you
pick fabric,
categorized
that
each of
kind
those articles and had draperies,
Okay.
then on your categories, all of those articles would be under that category,
So it serves
draperies.
as a reference source for the viewer to
Exactly.
go back and see other things.
Mhm.
Okay.
And is
Ideally,
that-
they should be keywords, because that, and I'll show you that in a minute, that kind of helps, it's going to help your
Does
search.
that index, that categories part of the function of the blue?
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm. All blogging platforms have, some of them call them tags and some of them call them categories. I don't know. I don't know why they distinguish between that. Where was I? I'm sorry. While you still want to write good content for your reader, you determine your keywords so you can write articles about that. But then the other thing that's really important to have in your article are links. Is everyone familiar with what a link is? You want to have an internal link, meaning it's some kind of a link it's a link that goes somewhere on your website. You want to have at least one of those. Let's see. I probably have one in here. And here I had standard commercial envelopes, and that links to a page on our website.
Does
You
the
also-
link usually, if you put your cursor over it,
Mhm.
take you there?
Mhm.
Okay.
It will. The other link that you want to try to have in your article, and at least one of, is an external link. That would be something that doesn't go to your website, it goes to something else. Maybe you're referencing an author, another person, something in your article, and you want to link to their website or their bio or something. Search engines love links. The more good authority sites that are linking to you, the better. That actually moves your ranking up. So you definitely want to have at least one external link in your article. One of each. You don't need to overlink, but try to have one of each. The other thing about the linking, let's see, let me tell you about that. I don't want to get too complicated. I'm just going to run through this really fast. Some of it is a little detailed. The other thing that you need to consider as far as when you're creating the article, the URL for that article needs to be really simple for the reader and the search engine. And I gave you an example of that because the search engine doesn't understand the digitalprintinc.net/2010, et cetera. It doesn't really know it's not going to tell the reader or the searcher anything about that. But the URL, what is digital printing, is going to tell them everything they need to know, and it's going to rank you higher.
Does everyone know what a URL is?
Not exactly.
Okay.
That is your www.machinos.com
Okay,
slash,
whatever.
what is the fireplace? Yep. And those things are, you know, in your platform, your back end, when you're creating it, that's all things you take care of right there. The other thing I just want to show you really quick, where is the one? Here we go.
You wanna log in?
No, I thought it was already logged in.
Well,
I don't like this keyboard.
here,
Sorry.
I'll do it.
Thank you. Page properties, this is how ours works. Your WordPress is going to be a little different. When I start typing in my page title, it automatically turns it into the URL. I can put in keywords, 3 keywords that I usually use the same keywords that I use for the tags or the categories. And your meta description is a brief sentence, not very lengthy, about what your article is about. Shouldn't be the first sentence of your article. It just kind of summarizes what your article is about, because this is what the meta description is right here. It tells, and if it's too lengthy, it's going to get cut off. So it tells the reader, when they search, it tells them what the page is about. This is your page title, your URL, which one? And yeah, it is. And your meta description. Those 3 things are really, really important. And if you do nothing else, you want to put those in to every article that you write. That's going to help each article gets found. So helps with your search. I know I went through that really fast and it was a little jumbled, but
Every platform, what she just showed you, every platform that you use already has that built into it. So you don't have to try to figure out, where am I supposed to put my keywords? How are they even gonna know? Just like that, you know, when you get ready to launch it, it's like, what do you want the subdomain to be, / whatever fireplaces? What do you want your keywords to be? Put them here. What do you want your meta description to be? Put it here. So I don't know. That can be, if you don't know what you're looking at, it's like, where do I put all that stuff? How do they even know that? So most of the platforms will have that laid out for you, and it makes it really easy so that you don't have to figure out.
it does. And this is your SEO right here. If you do these, that's all you have to think about. You don't have to start getting real. You can, but you don't have to really take it that much further, because as long as you're following those specific rules, you're going to get found. It's take a little time, but you'll get found. So.
Thanks, Lori, I appreciate that. Obviously, we could go for a little while, but we're gonna stay on time. And a couple things. First of all, what we covered at the end as an observer would be that, you know, if you base the whole meeting on that, you might say, oh, I'm overwhelmed. Now keep that in mind, that you could go ahead and start blogging and just write articles and not worry about some of these things, and you'd still be doing good work, you know. And then as you kind of get into that, crawl before you walk, then you might say, hey, and then you can move into some of that. So don't let the fact that, boy, I couldn't remember everything that Lori was talking about, stop you from starting. That's the goal. At least start. And it's just a good thing for you to do that. And writing articles about your business is not only going to help you on the web, it's going to help you. It's going to keep you fresh, tuned in, and more with it. And hey, we all do this, our jobs over and over, and we think, oh, you know, we kind of get bored. But studying anything kind of keeps us fresh. So that's another little benefit of that. If you'll look towards the end of your little handout there, I want to ask a favor from you. I don't know what page it's on, but it's near the end. It's a survey. And maybe while we're finishing up, if you have a question, feel free to ask that. Is it? I didn't bring this. There it is. It's about it may be the last page. Second to last. So if that's something you feel like you can do and leave with us, that would be helpful. I mean, as we were talking, I thought of 2 or 3 other seminars. We'd have a seminar just on keywords. You heard Lori talk about that a lot. That's a huge information source, and believe me, it's going to be big, and it'll help you in that. So we'll try to have some more of these if you like them, or if you have some other ideas. You can also email us, because you have our contact information on our cards there as well. And then, and again, if you have some questions, just feel free. The only other thing I want to leave you with is you can do this. Okay, let me say that again. You can do it. However, in looking at it, you might look at it this way. When you rode a bike, guys, you fell off a lot. When you started your job, wherever you're working, you were like, you couldn't even find the bathroom. So now you're old hat because someone showed you how to do it. So another thought to think about, and we do have an offer for you if it's of interest, is that maybe you might say, you know what, maybe I could use a little help. We want to encourage you to do it either way. And I think one of the things you saw here tonight is that we're not here just to say, okay, you got to buy something, you got to buy something. But we do have, for $99, we can help you get started in blogging, a very basic package. Obviously for $99 we can't do too much. But it can get you, as it says there, it can get you introduced to it. We can help you as far as finding a domain and walking you through that, helping you get the hosting up. Even if you want to look at some themes, help you with that. Now that doesn't include the cost of all those things, but it would include the cost of our time and some of our knowledge, and even help you with that first blog. So you're published and now you're up there. So that's a thought, and that's in there. And if you want to talk about that, we can, and again, in that regard. So, but either way, I want to encourage you to do it and get started. You might even try it. Say, okay, I'm going to try it on my own. And then, boy, this is a little harder, kind of like Brandon was relating to. You can tell Brandon's been out there because he had some real world experience. And then you might say, you know what? Maybe I could use your help, and I may take you up on that. So that's a thought. And it also, you say, well, why would we do it for only $99? Well, 2 reasons. One is we expand. It gives us an opportunity to do some other things and talk to you about some other subjects that we think are very, very important, but at the same time gives us some experience as well. And that's really pretty much our seminar. If you have some questions, we'll be here for a few minutes. But also, I know some of you may need to get going, so we'll kind of go from there.
Can I add one quick
I was
thing?
going to say, Laurie and Nathan, anything you want to add?
Promote the heck out of your blog. Get creative, walk up down
Yeah.
Campbell with a sign,
Send those
whatever.
emails out.
All your social media, if you have it, signs in your store, email blasts,
That's a
sign
great
on your
idea.
car, whatever, your business cards, all your printed material should promote your blog. Your website, every page on your website should promote it. So you can get more subscribers, more readers. The other thing, there are some really incredible stories of people who just started a blog, didn't even have a business, who are now experts in something. They write a book, they sell something. I mean, it's incredible stories. There's one story, actually, we touch on it in our newsletter, of a gentleman who owned a pool company, and just a small pool company, and I think it was in the East Coast, I think. And he is an authority in the pool industry. In fact, all the other pool companies started looking to him